straight. You've traveled to all 50 states and have gone on a date with a different girl in each state 3 times?
Unreal.
Everybody gets laid when they get to Hawaii.
I am with my beautiful date, Cece. With my South Dakota date, Kesley.
You've had good dates, bad dates, dramatic dates, wild dates, and spontaneous dates, and you've done it all while driving a branded vehicle across the country?
Yeah.
Date day.
Yeah! Oh my God! This is NASCAR!
You've accumulated over 500 million views on your series, have grown your popularity to over 900,000 followers across platforms, and you've been featured on over 100 different media outlets.
Yeah.
Well, they're calling this old boy the TikTok bachelor.
Social media star Matthew Wurnig
Quit his job, hopped in his truck.
All to go on a date with a girl in every state.
Cheers to good old Mississippi.
I guess the only thing left to ask is, are you ready to talk about it all?
No, I'm without you. No, I'm without you. No, I'm without you. No, I'm without you. No, I'm without you.
What was your mindset on creating another season?
I felt like season 1 of 50 Dates, 50 States was really about laying the foundation and introducing the world to what the brand was. And I felt like I did a good job of doing that, of, growing more of a following and getting on the news a lot of places and just like building that brand and foundation. But I felt like there was just so much more to accomplish. And so with season 2, I put together a date application on the 50 Dates, 50 States website, and I had my buddy help build that out. Got that all good to go, and then I announced on social media that I'd be doing a second season and girls could apply. And that was crazy. The website crashed. In the first 2 weeks, we had over 5,500 applications. And then in less than 2 months, we had over 10,000 applications from girls applying to be dates in season 2 of 50 Dates, 50 States. And I was like, dang, this is wild. This is like, I had some options to pick from, and it was kind of a cool experience. I was trying not to let it get to my head as a single guy. And then I received a DM that would change the course of 50 Dates, 50 States forever. It was from a management group out in Michigan, and they were interested in partnering with me for the new season. I wasn't really sure what that looked like, but hopped on a call with him. And they wanted to fly me out to Michigan. And so I flew out to Michigan, and I met with them. And that was interesting. They didn't really have a lot of experience in the influencer social media world, but they were dipping their toes into it. But they had been in different entertainment industry areas. Long story short, they basically sold me on the idea of working with them. Once we got into an agreement and everything, like, things started moving really fast. I was surrounded by a team. I had my manager, I had management, I had an editor, I had a cameraman. They got me a new 50 Dates, 50 States vehicle. But it basically went from, me and my sister, who was helping me out with design elements and proposals and merch and things like that, and then my buddy who helped build the website and everything and doing some website management, to now a full team surrounding me. And I had my hesitations early on with how they operated a little bit, but I was just like, okay, maybe this is part of fitting into this team and everything, and so I just thought it would smooth out. But then we were off to the races and kicked off February 2022 in Michigan, where that was my first date with a gal named Peyton. And all the dates were structured very differently than season 1. These were now full-length episodes being produced and put out on YouTube. My date with Peyton great. We went ice skating. She went very viral. It was my most viral video at that time for what she played on Aux.
You're way too beautiful, girl. You wanna get a mansion, a jacuzzi, I need her to watch my movies. Action. No clouds in my stones.
And that was a fun thing I did with all my dates, and it became this 50 Dates, 50 States tradition where I give all my dates the aux. So as soon as I get in the car and we're heading somewhere for the first time, I would film and I'd basically say, hey, I got to get your taste in music. And I'd hand them the aux cord, and then they plug in whatever song, you know, whatever fits their vibe.
International, so international.
Followers loved it. Like, people online loved it. The dates started kind of having fun with it. Some of them would get really creative. Some of them would make playlists. That's what Peyton did. And it was cool. And it was a way for me to discover new music, see their taste, their style, what they like. But it was just like a nice little icebreaker. And then it did not take long for drama to kick in for season 2 of 50 Dates, 50 States. Introducing my Tennessee date, Jess. Jess was my most viewed date all season, and also my most controversial. On our date, we had gotten a monster truck and rode around downtown Nashville, and we went to a really nice spot to eat and kind of just hit the town. We kind of had different energies, her and I, to say the least. And we had fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, our date was fun. I felt really overwhelmed at times because I felt like I was talking with followers that would approach me, and then dealing with Jess and my cameraman and some logistic stuff. Like, I just kind of felt overwhelmed at points. But when I put out content of our date on social media, everybody, all my followers thought that her and I were like a match made in heaven. They thought we were perfect. And then when the full-length date episode came out, people were like, oh no, we couldn't be more wrong. And it really showed like how social media is one thing and how it actually is another. But we had our moments, and there was just some friction. Then followers started voicing out their opinions on Jess, and there were some more negative ones, and then that kind of interfered with Jess and I, and her and I had some phone calls about it and talking about some of the hate she was getting online. And one thing that I pride myself on with 50 Dates, 50 States is I am not trying to edit things or make a girl look bad. I want it to show what actually happened. And of course footage is edited, but I'm never trying to paint my date in a bad way and be like, oh, hey, like, we're gonna edit this and manipulate this content to make her look bad. I'm not here to do that. Like, I want all my dates to have a good, enjoyable, fun time. There was a little bit of friction there with my side of things and Jess's side of things, and how she thought she was framed, and I was like, that's just, you weren't framed in any way, that's just how you were. You know, like, that's just, and people have their reactions. Like, I can't control what people say online. And that's gotten me in a little bit of hot water with a handful of my dates, is if I put a clip out of me and my date eating ice cream, and some people online are roasting my date because of how she eats ice cream or how she looks or something like that, like, that is not my fault. But then Jess kind of got thrown into this villain role, and she just took it on. And to her credit, she took it on well. You know, she just accepted kind of being the villain date of the season. And her and another date of mine, they started a podcast together. The podcast basically was like fueling drama towards me and 50 Dates, 50 States. And they would have other dates on the podcast, and they would try to, you know, add some drama to things. And I felt like they were really poking the bear and like trying to get me to react almost. But I was just like, no. And it was kind of pestering, you know, and I didn't watch any of the stuff. or consume it, but people would tag me in it or share it with me or be like, oh, did you see what she said and stuff? And it was kind of pestering, but I just was like, I am so busy and I have things I'm trying to do. So just like, tune that out. It was just noise. But the journey continued, made my way into Florida, and my date and I went to Universal Studios. And then I made my way into South Carolina for one of my favorite dates I have ever been on in my life. Brailise, and that woman, that girl, dude. Oh man, she got my heart pounding then and now. That was a great date. We went and did a wine tasting class together. We went and did a food tour downtown Charleston. And so we got to go have food at all these really unique places in Charleston that was kind of historic.
I think I'm in love.
God, I hope so.
And she was just so special. Like, I felt I loved her music taste. I loved her Southern charm. I loved her personality. She was so adventurous. She had this like adventurous spirit to her, and this kind of, I don't know. It was awesome, and I really, really liked her. Made my way to North Carolina after that. My date and I visited her family's greenhouse that she had, and I got to meet her dad. Headed to New York City and got to see the Statue of Liberty this time and visited that. Also, me and my date held like this giant snake and anaconda when we got back.
What's his name? Zeus? Hi, Zeus. Oh, he's kissing you.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh my God.
Oh my God, he's gonna kiss you.
Oh my gosh.
In Boston, I partnered with a club, and this was so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. One of the most embarrassing moments of 50 Dates, 50 States. My date and I, we were at this club, and she had all of her friends come with, and we had our own section and table, and they were gonna have bottle service for us, and a sign that came out with all the girls with the sparklers and lights and everything. And no one showed up, and I was kind of talking with my contact, and he's like, yeah, it's been crazy, like people are behind. And so my date, she was like, hey, can me and my friends run to the bathroom? Think we have time? And I'm like, yeah, we've been waiting long enough. It's fine. Go ahead and head to the bathroom. And what happens right when they leave? Here come the bottle service girls with the sign, and I am standing at this table alone. With all these girls that are holding the sign and shot glasses and sparklers, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, of course. Like everybody in the club's looking, and it's just me in this section. It is so embarrassing. I'm like, of course, just perfect timing. And then I met one of my favorite dates of all time, Kaya from Vermont. It was an Easter date, kind of a last minute date, and she didn't have to work. She got me an Easter basket, and I got her one as well for Easter, so great minds think alike. We did a little Easter egg hunt, and in the eggs that I put together, I had questions for us to ask when we went and grabbed them, and then we sat in the car and we asked each other these little questions.
What's a quality you want a future partner to have?
Oh gosh. Empathy.
Empathy, that is a great answer.
Who was your celebrity crush growing up?
Oh.
I'm so curious on this.
Oh, it was Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah, just never got. No.
You know her, right? Like,
No, I don't.
Ashley Tisdale, The Sweet Life is at Goatee, The Sweet Life on Deck. She was like the blonde. Do you kiss on the first date?
Oh lordy. I feel like that so depends on like the person.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not like a yes or no across the board.
Yeah, it's like how the vibe is.
But like, have I kissed on a first date before? Yes. Have
Yeah.
I not kissed on a first date before? No.
Yeah.
She is so spectacular. She is one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. She is one of the most caring individuals. She's so sweet. She's fun. She has such a good spirit to her. She doesn't take things too seriously. And she's got a great sense of humor. Just matches, my type to a T. And I really, really, really like the guy.
different did this season feel compared to season 1?
Very different. Very different. I was extremely busy, and I was extremely busy during season 1, but it was kind of on my own time, it felt like. With season 2, I just felt like I was constantly reviewing content, editing stuff, booking hotels, coordinating with everybody on the team, communicating with dates, planning things. So I was extremely busy on just a different level. And then obviously like just going on the dates themselves. I felt like I barely had time to do my laundry in hotels. It felt like a reality show compared to me running around the U.S. with my cell phone. The interviews I was getting less press, but they were bigger press pieces and stories I was getting. And my cameraman John, he was the best. It was having him on the road season 2. We got along so well. And it was great because he was, older than me, and he had a family, he had kids. Me and him had a very similar moral compass with things, and we just bonded so well. And he was like a big teddy bear. And he made my dates comfortable. Me and him had some great memories together, and we had kind of our fun traditions. We loved blaring Rascal Flatts together and just cruising the highways. We were all about Rascal Flatts vibes. He loves Mexican food. And so me and him, when we were pulling into new states, it was between 4 different things we were eating all the time, I swear. It was either Mexican food, Chinese food, Cece's Pizza, because we loved Cece's Pizza buffets, or mac and cheese, because he loved mac and cheese too. And so those were like our 4 staples on the road. He was great, and having him on the road was a blast, and someone I truly appreciated. I felt like 50 Dates, 50 States was on this another level of like fame, like mini fame, social media fame, whatever you want to call it. I was getting noticed a lot more. People were taking pictures of me. People were taking pictures of the car, filming me down the highways.
That's 50 Dates, 50 States! Oh my God!
Buying me drinks if I was out and about with my dates. When I went to this gun range with my date in Maine, we went and shot machine guns, and they had a sign out front that said, "Welcome 50 Dates, 50 States" on it.
Oh, let's go. That's so cool. These guys are awesome.
When I was in New Hampshire, the hotel I stayed in, the guy DM'd me, and he was the owner of the bar in the hotel, and he was like, "Hey man, like I'd love to open up the bar for you. They were closed that day." He's like, "When you're done with your date, like I'd love to open up the bar with you and just chat about your adventures and travels." And so after my date, I went in there, and he opened up the bar, and it was me, him, and his wife, and we just had a couple drinks and just chatted about traveling and my endeavors, and they were asking me a bunch of questions, but it was really cool, and giving me that special treatment because I'm doing this thing. And then a huge cherry on top was the gifts. So many of my dates that I went on, basically all of them, there was probably like less than 5, but all the dates I went on, most of them got me gifts when I came to town. I'd roll up, and they'd present me with this really nice state-themed basket. It would have either like state-themed food or chips or drinks or sweets or alcohol from that state.
So I got this for you. It's heavy.
Bloody Mary mix and vodka, Old Bay flavored vodka. Oh, so this is all Old Bay. All right, yeah, you put Old Bay on everything.
And it was just like all the effort and creativity they put into it, or maybe it was merchandise.
You made this shirt?
Yeah, look at the back.
So it's got, the back has got...
I put your logo on it just to be safe.
Are you kidding me? What? Wow.
Just for you.
And I just felt like the luckiest guy in the world. I took a step back, and I'm like, I'm literally traveling 1250 states again to go on a date with a different girl in every state, and they're giving me gifts upon arrival. This is like every man's dream. A bunch of my dates started meeting up in person. 5 of my dates met up, and they all got matching ass tattoos, which women are wild. It was in the shape of a little heart, a little sweetheart, and it said gals in the middle of it, because I am notorious for calling my dates either sweethearts or referring to women as gals. That's just kind of in my vocabulary and grammar, and a lot of people get a kick out of that. So these 5 dates that met up, yeah, they got a little heart on their ass that says gals in it tattooed, and they all like FaceTimed me and were sending me pictures, and I'm just like, oh, all right, you guys are wild. This is insane. Another group of my dates, they met up in Nashville and all went and hit the town together and stayed out with each other for the weekend. Another thing that I felt was different from season 2 compared to season 1 is I was just doing bigger and better date activities. In Ohio, my date and I did chirotherapy where we went into this freezing cold chamber. In West Virginia, my date and I did a bridge walk over the New River Gorge. My date in Arkansas with Harley, we literally went frog hunting. They call it frog gigging. And she took me out. It was very like redneck and boondockish. And we went out and she had this like little mini trident. It looked like an extra long fork. And you went out and you literally speared frogs and hunted for frogs.
Beth, oh, come here. I gotta stab one midair. That would be so, my testosterone would go through the roof.
Oh, you, come here.
You gotta like.
Oh. Oh, gross.
Get
Dead.
his legs.
He's
Look,
dead.
we can like fry this up in the pan right now.
Matt, you ever had a date like this?
I've never had a date like this.
We went to this little gondola area and she surprised me with a snackle box. And she had all these little snacks set up and it was in a little tackle box that you would normally have bait for fishing. And it was a bunch of snacks though. And she had Orange Crush soda and custom 50 Dates, 50 States cookies for me. In Louisiana, my date and I went on a jet boat ride where we fed gators with marshmallows and chicken legs. We did a palm reading and ate beignets in New Orleans. I did a giant pizza challenge with my date in Texas where we tried to eat this ginormous pizza. Painted baby Yodas at a paint and sip class in Oklahoma. Went to a Sporting KC soccer game where my date and I got custom jerseys and had a viral kiss cam moment.
All right. Oh, my God. Oh, Blue. Oh, I see you, Blue. Oh, you dog. Oh, you dog. Kansas City. Make some noise.
My date in Nebraska, her and I, we went to this park where it was tradition for her back in the high school days to walk all the way up this giant tower and throw watermelons off the top. And so, small little town in Kearney, Nebraska, walk up this tower in the park, and at night we just yuck these giant watermelons off the top and see them splatter below, and we cleaned it up, of course, and then had a big bonfire. And then I had my date in Illinois with my date Cassidy, which was super special. And I really like Cassidy. Cassidy was so fun. And basically everything that could go wrong on our date did go wrong in terms of logistics. With like, we were getting denied places to film and there was a lack of communication between my team and some places that we were supposed to have set up. And so it felt like, you know, we were constantly just pivoting on things we were supposed to do on our date or where we were supposed to go. But, you know, we just rolled through the punches, and I appreciated Cassidy so much for rolling through those punches very seamlessly. And she got me an amazing gift to start our date where it was like this old Chicago, it was this baseball themed Chicago Blackhawks jersey, which was a cool crossover between the hockey and baseball teams there. And then she got me a giant bottle of Crown Apple. She got me a ton of stuff. But yeah, we just hit it off, and I thought really highly of Cassidy and just thought we had a lot of fun together.
Did you have a lot of off-camera date moments? What was the vibe like between you and the dates after you got done filming?
Sometimes we'd just go out for a drink and I would be able to get their feedback. I really liked hearing, you know, hey, what did you think about today? And hearing it when the cameras were off and we weren't mic'd up and nobody was being recorded. Just like, hey, like, what did you think about the experience? Like, were you nervous? Were you like happy of how things went? Like, it was good to kind of get that feedback in real time and for them to relax a little bit. 90% of the time, I liked who my dates were off camera compared to who they were on. Because sometimes dates would try to be a little bit too performative. Sometimes dates would tense up and be really shy and awkward. And I mean, I don't blame them. Like, you know, you sign up to go on a date and then you have a camera on you and you're mic'd up and people can judge you online. Like, it could be intimidating. And I totally understand that, where, you know, for them versus me where I'm just used to it. So when the cameras were off, like, they would just sometimes open up or show their true selves, which I really appreciated. And, you know, it just depends. Sometimes we'd go out and we'd party and hit the town, or they'd want to take me to their favorite bars or introduce me to their friend groups, or we'd go on a night walk together or whatever it was. And I really enjoyed that, you know, when the cameras were off and it was just more of like, it was less distraction, I guess you could say. But the road went on, my dates continued, and I was doing a lot of fun and exciting things. When I rolled into Minnesota, my date was a pilot, and she took me in a plane ride for a sunset ride over Minneapolis, which was beautiful. Got on the front page of the newspaper with her. When I got back to North Dakota, my date and I, we went to a Bismarck Larks game, which was really fun because that's obviously where I used to work and was the director of fun. So we got to watch the baseball game, compete in an on-field game, and then watch the fireworks from the field. In Utah, my date and I went to a drive-in movie. We ate at a cereal place where they had an array of different cereals you could try, and I visited the High School Musical school where they actually filmed the movies. I went into the gymnasium and no one was in there, and they had a bunch of basketballs. So I was just being Troy Bolton, and I was just shooting hoops, and that was such a cool feeling.
I am currently at the gym. They recorded High School Musical, so I got to get some buckets.
Coach said to fake right and break left. Watch out for the pick and keep an eye on the fence. Gotta run the give and go, take the ball to the hole, and don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay. Just keep your head in the game. Just keep your head in the game, and don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay.
I circled into New Mexico, and I got to reunite with my date Belle because she was also my season 2 date. That was really cool to see her again and reconnect after her being my season 1 date, and I hadn't seen her since. We started our date at 5:30 or 6 in the morning because we went hot air ballooning together. And so we were watching the sunrise, and then later that evening we rode this tram up this really giant rocky mountain in Albuquerque. And at the top of the tram is a single solo restaurant. And that's the only way to get up there. So even the wait staff, bartenders, busboys, everybody gets on this to get up there. And overlooks the beautiful area of Albuquerque. Her and I, we sipped old fashions together and just were really picking up where we left off, and we were really just shooting the shit and having great conversations, talking about life, and just really enjoy Belle's presence and company. And she just relaxes me. And I felt like it was someone that I just had this common ground with, because I'm meeting new people, new person after new person, new date after new date constantly, where it's oh, here's a familiar face. And that was really nice for me. In Vegas, I was with my date Amanda, and we rode rides on the Stratosphere. We went and ate at the Heart Attack Grill, where they put you in nursing gowns, and if you don't finish your meal, they punch you on this pole and kind of bend you over, and they spank you with a wooden paddle.
Oh, jeez! Just got spanked.
I hated that. I actually hated that.
I should just moon the camera. My ass is totally red.
I had kind of a fun crossover with my date in Oregon. My season 2 date and I, we went to a cycling class that was taught by my season 1 date. In Washington with my date Emily, thought we hit it off extremely well. We went paintballing.
Where'd you get hit?
My back.
You know who hit you?
Matt?
Oh! Where'd I get you? The ass? I wish I knew it was you. I would have shot you in the ass 5 times.
She got absolutely cooked right in the neck. Someone smoked her in the neck. I felt kind of bad for her.
I literally got hit on my neck.
Oh, shoot.
Did you?
It actually didn't hurt.
My cameraman John, his camera got shot with a paintball, so had paint splatter all over it. We were just a mess. But we hit it off really well. There was maybe a little bit of sparks there.
He's so sweet. I'm having such a good time. I have a little crush. We're crushing, but I'm having a great time, and it's been very, very fun. I can't wait for the rest of it.
One of her favorite things to get for food was 2 cheeseburgers at McDonald's, but with no meat. And so she insisted I tried them. And so we had burgers with no meat for our date meal.
So we're gonna eat some cheeseburger, no meat.
Look at this. Look at this thing. This is what we're eating. All right, cheers.
Red.
It makes me so happy.
And then I rolled into Montana. I was back in my hometown in Huntley, Montana, and I had kind of a hometown date. And it was great. And then we went 4-wheeling, but our date, she ended up in the ER because we were 4-wheeling and I drifted a corner, and I was doing it, and then she was encouraged to also try it. And so she tried, but then her 4-wheeler tipped and she flew off and cut her knee. Are you okay? Are you okay? You know, and she's a tough Montana girl. That's born and raised, the Montana roots. But she was like, no, I'm good. Like, this is fine. I'm okay. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, you're bleeding a lot. And she was like duct taping her like leggings and just rubbing some dirt in it. But we took her in, and yeah, she had to get stitches. So we sat in the ER together while she like got some stitches to it. I'm like, wow. I get bucked off season 1. She gets tipped off before we go season 2. I'm like, Montana's just bad mojo, man. And then I had my final 2 dates of the season in Alaska and Hawaii. And lots happened during that time. John didn't get to come with me to Hawaii and Alaska, which was really disappointing. I had met with management beforehand, and they said that they just kind of wanted me to go and vlog it and film things on my phone, and that John was going to be kind of kept back behind. And that sucked because I was with John my whole journey for 48 states, you know, and I wanted him to not just come out and film and finish the job, but also for him to experience Hawaii and Alaska. But that was a decision made by management. And so I went out to Hawaii for my 49th date state to finish the last 2. I had an amazing date with my date, Olivia. Her and I hit it off really well. We went parasailing, which was unbelievable, just floating above the water, getting that breeze and seeing Honolulu in the distance. Like, I was really comfortable around her. We went out to Koala Ranch and we rode e-bikes, and Koala Ranch is where they filmed a bunch of movies. So they filmed like Jumanji out there, and Kong Skull Island, and 50 First Dates. So that was kind of fitting. That was pretty good. Oh, literally awesome. So we rode e-bikes out there and just saw all the beautiful parts of everything. We went and ate at Kona Brewing that night because I love Kona, and so we had a really nice kind of seafood dinner. I think Olivia, she was gorgeous. We had a lot of fun banter. I loved her sarcasm. And then while I was in Hawaii, I got reached out to by some producers from Good Morning America in New York City, and they were interested in doing something with me for 50 Dates, 50 States and the finale. And so I had kind of hopped on a call so they can hear more about what I was doing and where I was at with the season and series, and I was explaining that I only had a couple dates left, and so we were working through some logistics, and they were going to talk with their team on things. And so that was really exciting to hear that there could be a potential opportunity for me to be on Good Morning America. Then I went to Alaska for my 50th and final date in season 2 of 50 Dates, 50 States. The night before my date, I was in an Airbnb in Alaska, and I don't have a vehicle, obviously, and so I just walked to a place to grab dinner that was kind of close on my map. And on my walk back, I took kind of a different route. And as I'm walking back, I see this building, and it was called the Alaskan Bush Company. And I could not believe my eyes because so many people had told me about this place, and that, hey, if you're ever in Alaska, you got to check this place out. Like, you got to go to it. And I would have never thought of going to it because it's a strip club. And so I would have never thought of it, never. But when I walked by and I saw it, I was like, there's no way this is on my route back to my Airbnb. And so what did I do? The curiosity killed the cat, and I was like, I'm going to check it out. And I hate strip clubs. That's not, like, I feel super uncomfortable in them. I just feel dirty and weird and, like, I don't know. That's just not my vibe. But I went in it, and also, what a story to say you were just in an Alaskan strip club. And so I go in there, and I just, like, immediately, like, kind of put my head down and just, like, went to the bar and had a drink. One of the dancers performers came over to me, strippers, and came over to me. She was playing the game. I knew what she was trying to do. And she was asking about me. We actually had a really good conversation. So yeah, I went to the Alaskan strip club. And then the next day I had my date. And my date and I in Alaska, we went on a helicopter ride to a glacier. And it was gorgeous. We were supposed to go out to a dog camp and land on this mountain where there was a dog sledding camp, but it was too foggy, so we couldn't land there. So the pilot took us out to this glacier where we landed, and we drank fresh glacier water.
I can't like recreate it.
It's so cold.
It is.
How is it?
It tastes good.
Does it taste good?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cold.
That's like, I don't know, it's freezing. But it's like, it seems like, maybe it's just my mind, it seems like overly fresh.
Yes.
Like, that was good though.
And when we wrapped up with that and got back, we went to a nice scenic spot and we popped champagne in honor of me completing season 2 of 50 Dates, 50 States and my 50th date.
Okay. This is the end. This is season 2. 50th date is complete. But it wouldn't be complete without a little spray of champagne, am I right?
Of course.
So we're gonna spray some champagne with that beautiful view in the background, beautiful date, and what a way to put an end to season 2. So here we go. Season 2 is complete. Let's go. Date 50. You ready? Oh, oh, hey, oh, shoot. It stopped recording.
There we go.
There we go. We did it.
It was awesome, though, to have that feeling of finishing again, and I was in Alaska, and I wasn't in my home state. I was just, like, out in the wilderness, it felt like. Just a cool feeling and a sense of pride and accomplishment again, but still unfinished business with what was going to happen with Good Morning America. And so I get back to Montana. I hop on some more calls with the producers out there, and we finalized what we were going to do, and they wanted me to have a finale on Good Morning America where I bring my top 5 dates. I pick my top 5, and we all go out, and then I would pick my winning date live on air, which is just crazy. Like, just an unreal thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is bizarre. Got all the logistics lined up, and then I asked their team, I said, hey, is it okay if I contact my dates so I can let them know, let the top 5 know? And they're like, yeah, who are you gonna pick? So I sent them the list of my 5 dates that I was gonna select to have on. They okayed it, and then I double checked and I was like, hey, I just wanna confirm and make sure it's okay. I reach out to them and tell them that like this is gonna happen and I'm inviting them to be on this. And they were like, yep, you're good to go. So I contact my 5 dates, my top 5, which was Cassidy from Illinois, Sarah from Missouri, Peyton from Michigan, Belle from New Mexico, and Olivia from Hawaii. And those were my top 5 dates I reached out to, which was such a cool call to make because they were like, what? And like they didn't know that was happening. And it was, so they were so excited on the phone, and that was an awesome phone call to make, just to hear like the joy in their voice and being in like that shock factor. But then Good Morning America tells me, hey Matt, we actually checked with our execs and everything, and you can only bring 3 of your dates. And I'm like, you told me I could bring 5, and I told these 5 girls that they're gonna be going on. And I'm like, this is like the worst thing ever. I felt so bad. I'm like, so you're telling me I have to go back to 2 dates of mine and basically say, hey, like, never mind. You're not going to be on. And they're like, well, that's just like what the execs told us and everything. And I'm like, that's not going to, like, I can't do it. Like, can you please ask them again? Or like, can we try to get 4? Or like, help me out here. And so they're like, okay, we'll check back with our team and let you know. So they ended up letting me bring 4 of my dates. And they told me that I couldn't bring my Hawaii date anymore because logistically it wasn't going to work for timing and flight schedules for her to get all the way from Hawaii to New York City, and that, which makes sense, literally 2 opposite ends. But I was just like, well, I wish they would have told me that beforehand. And I was trying to tread lightly because obviously like I'm just blessed and grateful for this opportunity. So I had to call my Hawaii date Olivia, and I had to tell her, hey, never mind. And that's just how chill of a gal Olivia is, and why I liked her so much is just because she took it awesome. She was just like, hey, Matt, I get it. I totally understand. Like, that wasn't your fault. Like, I know that it's things out of your control. Like, you're good. You know, you go kick ass, have fun, and enjoy yourself. And I'm like, you're the realist. So the 4 dates that were going to join me on Good Morning America was Sarah from Missouri, Belle from New Mexico, Peyton from Michigan, and Cassidy from Illinois. And then it was time to fly to New York City and have my finale on the big stage.
25-year-old Matt Wurnig becoming an internet sensation by going on 50 dates in 50 states. Coined the TikTok Bachelor, Matt driving more than 25,000 miles, setting up dates with girls across the country.
Here we go.
Taking his dates on rides in helicopters, hot air balloons.
All right, we have an engine.
Then even in a plane as a co-pilot.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Making it to every state in just 6 months than 3 days.
Date state 35, baby. 46 of 50. It's the last and final date.
So who will Matt pick for a second date? Let's find out right now.
What a wild experience, like building up to that and then actually flying out there to be on Good Morning America. I don't get nervous, and I was really nervous for that, just because not necessarily like the stage I was going to be on, but just logistics and everything working out. Because my dates and I, we had to like take COVID tests before we got out there. We had to, when we landed, we immediately had to take COVID tests that were in our hotel rooms. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, if I pick up something when I'm traveling or in the airport, and then, you know, I get out here and I have COVID and then I can't go on air, and then the segment is scratched, or one of my dates has it and then it's only 3 of us, or what if the girl I want to pick is like, you know, all these logistics. I'm just like, I hope it goes smooth. And so I was nervous for those things. But luckily, we were all good, and nobody tested positive for COVID when we landed, and we were all set to go. And I went out with my dates that night in New York City, and I took them to dinner in Little Italy. That just was such a cool feeling, sitting there with my top 4 dates of the season. We're all meeting for the first time, and we cheers a glass of wine, and I, you know, thank them for being out there. And I'm like, you know, you guys just threw your shot, you know, in the hat of having a date application, and now we're about to go on Good Morning America. Then the next day, it was showtime, and got all ready, got prepped in the morning, and then we met one of the people down in our hotel, one of the producers. They walked us over to the studio, and we were all dressed up. My dates were looking absolutely gorgeous. They put us in our respective dressing rooms. My dates had, I think their dressing room sign said the dates on it, and then mine said my name. Spelled my name wrong, but that's neither here nor there. But we were in our dressing rooms. Then a producer came in and prepped me, and we had kind of a meeting on just, you know, how things were going to go, the flow of it. I didn't really know what to expect. And so talking with the producer, we go through all those logistics. Then they leave, and I'm just kind of sitting in my dressing room, and I'm just like, man, like I hope this goes well. I'm about to pick my winner on national TV. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I'm sweating, I'm nervous, but this is what we do it for. Here we go, 50 Dates, 50 States, Season 2. Let's do it. We all get out of our dressing rooms and we walk outside New York City, and they take us out to Times Square. They have this beautiful set lined up for us in the middle of Times Square, fenced off. There's photographers everywhere. It's like paparazzi, like people taking photos of us as we walk out of the Good Morning America studio. It felt like I was I felt like I was an A-list, you know, celebrity walking in, because all these photographers are flashing stuff and they don't know who we are. They're just taking pictures. But then there's people crowded around the bike rack fencing around this set that's out there, and it had the chandelier and rose petal background, and it was all set up for me in 50 Dates, 50 States. And I was like, this is, like, I'm living the dream. This is crazy. We get out there, they shoot kind of a fun promo with me.
All right, we are back now with the young man known as the TikTok Bachelor, Matt Wurnig. 50 dates in 50 states. Let's go, Matt. He's been around the country twice, and this morning, after many, many, many first dates, Matt's getting ready to finally go on a second date with that someone special.
And then we played this little segment game on air where, like, the anchors quizzed the dates on me and our date and stuff like that. And then they had a dating coach share his expertise on who he thought I should pick as the winner. And then it was my time to decide, and so I stood up and I like walked over to the camera and I said,
well, with all that being said, I think, you know, I would choose my date to be Cassidy. I would choose Cassidy.
And so I picked Cassidy as my winner. And when it came to picking the winner, it was really tough because I was debating really hard between Cassidy and Belle. Those were the 2 girls that it was really hard for me to decide on, because Belle was so special to me, and she played a role in season 1 and season 2, and I just think so highly of Belle. My family loves Belle, like from the content they've seen and the stories I've told them, and I just felt like we had a really good connection, and she was just a part of the story. But then Cassidy, like, I just loved the moments we had during our date, and I thought it was just so much fun. And I don't know, it was a really tough decision Good Morning America, they presented us a playbill, which is basically tickets to a Broadway show. We went to the Broadway show. It was called Moulin Rouge. And me and her were kind of hesitant going in because neither of us are like theater kids or like into plays and stuff. But that was so cool. That was phenomenal. And we really enjoyed ourselves watching that play. I was on like an absolute high. I'm like, this is crazy. I was just on Good Morning America, where millions of people watch. It was an unreal feeling. And then I stayed in New York for a week after that, just doing press. I was on the Tamron Hall talk show, and the talk show experience is interesting. They bring you in a makeup room and they dolled me up with makeup. I hated that. I have a completely new respect for women that like how they can do that to themselves every day or when they go out or dress. Like I felt so like I just felt caked up, and I'm like, this is just weird.
Okay, update. I'm covered in makeup. Like, look at... I'm just coated in makeup. This is so different. This is not my lifestyle.
But being on the show was awesome. You like stand behind this door, and then the producer's like, all right, here we go. And then they do an intro, and then it's like 3, 2, 1. These doors open, you walk out into like a live audience, and everybody's cheering, and you kind of like wave into the crowd, and just kind of a cool atmosphere. They had an interview with Access Hollywood, and so that was neat for them to show that on air, and Mario Lopez was the anchor, and he introduced that. And then after I was doing all that press, I was on Good Morning America and Tamron Hall and Access Hollywood, and I was at this high and this peak of 50 Dates, 50 States. I started getting reached out to by a lot of producers, and I've been through the ringer with producers already from, season 1 and earlier, people in season 2. And I had a meeting with one that was pretty credible out in New York while I was there doing press, and was on a lot of different meetings and calls from different producers that were reaching out, interested in making this a show. And then a big fish reached out to me, and I got a DM, and this DM said, hey, Matt, I'm an executive producer with Warner Brothers out in LA who oversees The Bachelor. And we've seen that you've been labeled as the TikTok Bachelor, and we'd love to have a conversation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. The Bachelor is reaching out to me, and like Warner Brothers, like that's as big as it gets, right? So I hop on a call with them and had a really good discussion. I remember they asked me if I would ever be interested in being like a contestant on The Bachelorette and being one of the guys, and I was like, no. And they were like, well, why? And I was like, because those guys on that show are men. I was like, I look like a child. I was like, I look like a boy, like a baby face. Like, people would see me and I would stick out like a sore thumb. Like, these guys like are bulk and huge and got beards, and then there's me. They'd be like, who's this kid on the show? And they laughed. They thought that was hilarious. But I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good with, me doing 50 dates, 50 states or whatever, but I don't know if that's for me, The Bachelor. But we had some really good conversations, and ultimately I talked with my management team about things and decided that we were going to end up working with Warner Brothers. And then management and I decided that we would work together on developing things further with 50 Dates, 50 States on social media. And so since management was based in Michigan, we were like, all right, I'm going to move out to Michigan to be closer to them and work as a team on things, on developing stuff. And everything was going great until it wasn't. I moved out to Michigan, and management and I, we just were not on the same page and had a lot of different disagreements with things. I wanted to take the show in a certain direction, and I wanted to keep certain elements tied to it, and they had different ideas in mind. They wanted the show to be more dramatic and, R-rated, and I wanted to flirt with that PG-13. They wanted more drama and vulgarness and risque, and they just wanted things a little bit more raunchy and like a Love Island vibe or like a Too Hot to Handle. And that's just not how I want my brand to be, because to me, that hurts my brand more than it helps it. Yes, it's a dating show, and so I want there to be that line of like flirtatious and, having a kiss on camera or, showing those moments and whatnot and like having romantic moments. But I wanted there to be a line, and I wanted it to be consumable and relatable, and I didn't want it to be, this dramatic Hollywood, vulgar sexualized show. And so we just had different mindsets in how we wanted the show to go. And long story short, it ended in a mess because they wanted to take over creative control of things, and I was not about that. And we were developing a new season and show and format, and then out of nowhere, it felt like they just kind of kicked me to the curb and pulled the rug out from underneath me. And that caused a lot of different battles and friction. And that really sucked because I thought, we were on the same page, which is why I moved out to Michigan and we were going to do these things and we were in agreement. And then it just felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. I was stuck out in Michigan with my year lease that I just got into. They took back the 50 Dates, 50 States car. I was broke, basically had no money, and I started working at a Texas Roadhouse as a server, and I was door dashing in the 50 Dates, 50 States truck out in Michigan. Really humbling. I was still working with Warner Brothers, and I was having some conversations with them, but it kind of felt like it was up and down, and it wasn't really consistent. And then I felt like I started getting a little bit of momentum, and I started making some good progress with them. And I started having weekly calls with my contact there, and he was going to go pitch things to the higher up execs. And I put together this really good trailer for him, and we had everything kind of outlined with how we were going to do it. And then he went and gave it to his execs, and they approved of it all, and they loved it. They thought it was awesome. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. It's all working out like it should. And then the Hollywood strike happens out in LA. And it's like the first strike that has happened in like over 40 years or 50 years or something. And Hollywood just shuts down. People are getting laid off. Writers are on strike. Production shuts down for everything. Like everything on TV becomes reruns. Like nothing's happening because everybody's, on this writer strike. And there's this big feud. And it collapsed a lot of things, including what I was working on with Warner's. My contact was like, hey man, like a lot of people are getting laid off. Like I've been repositioned in our department. Like he's like, I'm still good and my position's safe. He's like, I've just been repositioned. He named a couple other people that had been laid off. And he's like, they're making cuts, they're doing things. And he's like, I don't know, it's not looking too hot. And he's like, maybe, we'll have to see what happens when this kind of breezes over. But that's where things line out. And that just sucked. Like, it was so demoralizing because it just felt like, okay, I'm right when I'm making good momentum with them, it's just like this thing that hasn't happened in over 40 years just drops on me. And it's like why? And I like really question the big man up top. I'm like, I've grinded on this brand and I've tried all these things and I've put in the time and effort and sacrifice and money and commitment and all these things. And it's like, why would this happen at my time? Like, at least what I thought was maybe my time to have 50 Days, 50 States become a show. And so it was really aggravating for me. I started to find a rhythm, and I was able to get about $60,000 worth of sponsorships sold on this new season that I was developing. And then out of nowhere, the sponsors pulled out. They had verbally committed. I had contracts written up, and I sent it to them, and then they basically said their budget had been aligned elsewhere. That was money I was hoping on getting, and they pulled out for no reason. I had been working with another group of producers out in Las Vegas, and they left me high and dry just out of nowhere. We had some really good initial conversations, and then what they seemed to have high hopes for the show, all fizzled out. And in the blink of an eye, everything changed. I was just on Good Morning America, had my finale, picked my winning date, Access Hollywood, the Tamron Hall show in New York, talking with Warner Brothers producers, hit me up left and right, and like that, I was kicked to the curb by management. the 50 Dates, 50 States car was taken. Warner Brothers fell through and the Hollywood strike happens. I have $60,000 worth of sponsors pull out of nowhere. I'm serving as a server at Texas Roadhouse. I'm door dashing in the 50 Dates truck. I am led on by more producers. And it just felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And that was a really tough time. I think most people in that moment would have quit. I think they'd be like, all right, I've seen the end of the road and this is about as far as, I've squeezed all the juice out of this lemon that I can. And, I got to step back into reality and I got to get a normal job, or, my time is up with 50 Dates, 50 States. I think most people probably would have thrown in the towel. But I'm so stubborn in my relentless pursuit of what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish. I felt like I not only owe it to myself, but I owe it to the ones who have supported me as well. Like, there's people who were cheering me on, from back when I was doing stuff in season 1 with the Larkettes or the Bismarck Larks or the Community, or friends back home who took the time, like my buddy who left his life to come on the road with me and be my cameraman, and buddy who took time to build my website, and sister who's helped me design things, and followers. And I just feel like I felt like I didn't just owe it to myself, but I owed it to them to try and seek it out to the end and figure it out. So I just got to the drawing board, and I knew it wasn't a defining moment, and I knew it was just something that I was gonna have to get through.
So what did you do?
I got to work. I started doing a lot of side quests and almost did sort of a season 2.5 where I collaborated with a bunch of businesses and was going on dates. Found a really good rhythm and was doing some incredible things. I played for an influencer baseball team in Michigan called the Nut Smugglers, where I had a date in the outfield while the game was being played, and it was highlighted on ESPN. I collaborated with Kansas City Chiefs and Hallmark in Kansas City. They hosted us at the Chiefs game where we got to go on the field, got custom jerseys, hosted a private brunch for us where we had an array of different food and tons of different unique cocktails. We got to attend the red carpet premiere of the Hallmark movie that was based on the Kansas City Chiefs called The Chiefs Love Story. I collaborated with ND Country Fest, which is a 4-night country festival out in North Dakota. And I had to go on a date with a different girl each night of the festival, which was wild, bizarre, and overwhelming. For Valentine's Day, I went out to Indiana and went to an Indy Fuel game where my date and I got to play an air mattress game on the ice and got to shoot t-shirts into the stands while riding in the Zamboni. Collaborated with the Minnesota Vikings where they gave us on-field passes and got to be in VIP lounges.
It's game day.
Collaborated with the Minnesota Wild hockey team where they sat us in seats that were $1,600 a piece, and they sat in between the players' benches. On top of that, had a date with the St. Paul Saints at Cragun's Resort in Minnesota, Four Bears Casino, the Mall of America, different wineries and a wine bar. However, even though I was making some great content, doing some great collabs, was back on my feet and things were going good, I still felt like there was no direction to this, and I felt like I was just kind of mindlessly going on dates and it wasn't part of something bigger. And so that's when I decided that I was going to hit the road for one last time in my curtain call season for season 3.